I'm Jason Missildine, a U.S. Army veteran of 9 years, having spent a year in Iraq and a year in Afghanistan. I left the military in 2016 dealing with severe anxiety and depression. In 2017, things began to get so bad that I quit my job and was placed on psychiatric medication. Things continued to worsen. 1 year ago, in August 2018, God revealed to me that in exactly 1 year, August 2019, everything would be okay. I began by embracing that date in faith, but things quickly turned worse for me. By January 2019, I was at my lowest of lows. I had considered running away, being homeless, and even suicide. I received a new diagnosis of borderline personality disorder and was put on stronger medication at a higher dosage. At this time, I stopped praying. I stopped serving at church. I began skipping church. I believe that either God rejected me or he placed these conditions on me as punishment. Fast forward to August 2019. On August 2nd, a friend from AMI asked me to hear her testimony. During that meeting a couple of days later, God showed me through her testimony that God hasn't rejected me or cursed me, and that he is indeed the God of wonders and miracles. Over the next week, God revealed areas of pride and disobedience in my life and began to address them. On August 9th, I began fasting during the day. After hearing of Pastor Alf Lucal's message on altars, I cleared out a closet and made it a prayer room. I built my altar. Here I began to pray and seek God. Out of obedience to God and in direct opposition to my pride, I signed up to be baptized in water at my church and returned to serving as an usher. I continued to fast and began to pray in tongues out of faith. I was invited to hear Pastor Carroll's message on baptism in the Spirit and decided to go. On Saturday, August 17th, I was baptized in water at my church and served as an usher that night. On Sunday, August 18th, I attended AMI and heard Pastor Carroll's message on baptism in the Holy Spirit. After the message, Pastor asked for those who had not been baptized to come to the front to be prayed for. I went. As I prayed in tongues at the front left of the room, Pastor Carroll made her way from the right, praying for everyone. I closed my eyes and began to worship. I began to feel a boldness and confidence, so I prayed louder. As she made her way around to me, I put all my focus on worshiping Jesus. As my elbows and knees began to feel weak, I began to feel an energy flow from my raised hands, down my arms, and into my legs, knees, and feet. At this point, I could no longer hear myself over the roar of tongues and worship surrounding me. As I continued to worship in tongues, I felt a pressure on the top of my head, like someone standing in front of me placed their hand on my head. I opened my eyes to see if it was Pastor Carroll, but no one was there. She had already moved back to the other side, several people away. I continued to feel this pressure on my head, even up until the moment that I left the service. It was from this moment that all doubts vanished. I had a complete confidence in what I had just experienced and a new perspective on everything. All problems seemed so small before God. The next day, on Monday, I realized that I had not taken my medication since Friday. In that moment, I decided to never take it again. It's now been 2 weeks, and I have not experienced any anxiety, depression, or adverse side effects from discontinuing the medication. I am completely and fully healed. I believe that God has called me to serve AMI, and that Jesus is calling the church out of the church.